Here we are on page 3 of lines. First problem says to draw the graph of the straight line passing through the point 0, 0 and negative 5, 6. So we're going to draw this line in red. 0, 0. When you draw a line or you draw any graph, the best thing to do isn't to try to imitate what the graph looks like on the grid of the calculator. The best thing to do is to graph points and connect the points. So 0, 0 is right there. Negative 5, 6 is right there. Next thing you do is you take your ruler, which I don't have. I don't have a ruler here. And then try to draw freehand what you should do with a ruler in real life. Okay? And then the next one goes from negative 1, 2, negative 1, 2, and negative 3, negative 5, negative 3, negative 5. Okay? All right. So that was just to draw those two lines. Next one is number 6. A skier travels downhill along two slopes, one with gradient negative 3 and the other with gradient negative 1/3. State which slope is the steeper one, justifying your answer. Okay, so if you want to see which one is steeper, one thing that you could do is you could go on the calculator and you could graph two lines, one of them being negative 3x, which I'm going to do in blue. And then the other one could be negative 1/3 x, which I'm going to do in red. This is one of the good things about having a color calculator. It's very easy to see which line is which once you graph it. So obviously the blue one is steeper. Okay, so the blue one is steeper. And now how would we justify that answer? We can't just, well, maybe you could draw it on the, draw a little graph here. But what you could do is you could show that negative 1/3 is a rise of down 1 with a run of over 3, right? And for negative 3, it is a rise. It's negative 3 is like negative 3 over positive 1, so it'd be a rise of down 3 and a run of over 1. So do you see how the red slope is going to be much less steep than the blue slope, because it's you're 3 units over 1 unit down, whereas the blue one is 1 unit over and 3 units down. So you can talk about that. Okay, let's go down. Megalift plans ski lifts and lift stations along the slopes. Find the height of a ski lift station B at 490, h, which is on a slope with gradient 0.35 and which passes through a lower ski lift station 90, 10. All the coordinates are given in meters. So here we're going to learn a different way to do this later, but right now we're just talking about slopes. So let's use the slope equation. The slope equation tells us that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is the slope, right? So the slope in this case, say is 0.35, right? And the number 1 point, let's say, is 90 minus 10. And the number 2 point, let's say, is 490 minus h. So we're going to put h here as y2 and 490 here as x2. And then we're going to put y1 here. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused. y1 would be, it would be 10, right? Because this is 0.1. And the x1 would be 90. So I've got 0.35 equals h minus 10 divided by 490 minus 90. Okay, and let me show you how you can do this algebra with the calculator. So you go to the calculator, and you get out of here, and then we're going to go to Math, and then we're going to go down to the bottom of Math where it has Solver. And on Equation Solver, what you can do is you could put the left side in E1 and the right side in E2, and then you can solve the equation for the unknown h, except you always have to use x, okay? So we're going to replace h with x, but otherwise we're going to type 0.35 here, and we're going to put x minus 10 divided by 490 minus 90 in E2. So we'll put 0.35 in E1, and then we're going to put, if you want to use the vertical fraction, you can do math, number, go down to the bottom, put that there, and you're going to put x minus 10, and you go down and put 490 minus 90, and you probably already know that that's 400, so you could just put 400 if you want to. Okay, and then you press OK, and then you hit solve. So I pressed alpha solve, and then it tells me that the x value is 150. Okay, and so let's check that. If we put 150 here, 150 minus 10, that would be 140. 140 divided by 400 would be 0.35. Okay, so it worked, all right? X equals 150. Or actually, h equals 150. Okay? Okay, number 1 for 4D, safety regulations for wheelchair ramps mandate that the maximum gradient of the ramp should not exceed 0.08. That's a gradient or a slope value. Calculate the gradient of the triangular ramp, triangle AOB. AB is perpendicular to OB shown below, and determine whether it conforms to the safety regulation. So obviously we're worried about the diagonal part of this, and we just need to find the slope of it. Remember that the slope can be calculated by finding the rise divided by the run. Okay, and in this case the rise is 2.55 units. And the run is 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 units. So the rise over the run in this case is 5 divided by 30, which is something like 0.17. We'll see exactly what it is here. It's 0.167. And we'll check to see, does it exceed 0.08? Yes, it does exceed 0.08. So does not conform. Okay. All right, that was it for page 3.